hard act to follow, and thank you, Gwen, for the great introduction. I became interested in training service dogs for our veterans coming home from Iraq and Afghanistan about 1.5 years ago when I was approached by a young Marine who was suffering from PTSD and very specifically wanted a Rottweiler. No offense, guys, but they all want a big dog who's going to protect them. Service dogs aren't about protection. They're about helping you navigate life. One of the greatest gifts that they give to us is unconditional love and non-judgment. Doesn't matter what happened to us, what we're going through. They'll sit there and they listen, and they don't try and give you advice other than to put their heads on your lap or a paw on your lap or a kiss across the face. It's one of the greatest gifts. There are a lot of programs out there that take and just like Guide Dogs for the Blind, and they'll have foster programs for the first year of the dog's life, then the dog goes into intensive training, then they're matched with an individual, and the individual goes through a boot camp. In thinking about this after the Marine approach, I started doing research and found there's a huge need. There's organizations that can only put out 8 and 10 dogs a year. There's got to be a better way to do it. I took my military experience, I took my corporate America experience being a manager, put all of those things together and came up with a train-the-trainer program. So what I do is I have the veterans train their own dog. I go to shelters, I go to rescue groups, breeders that are willing to donate, and look at temperaments, personalities, skill sets, what they need to do, talk to the veterans, interview them, find out what their needs are. What did they do before they became injured? Because one of the biggest things today, our injuries aren't always visible. We have those visible ones. We're a visual society, right? And you can see someone who's in a wheelchair or walking with a prosthetic or walking with crutches or a cane, and you can say, ah, okay, and you can show some respect. But when you can't see that wound, you don't know, and you question, well, why do they have a dog? So there's an education process that needs to take place too. But by having them train their own dog, the very first thing that happens, they get a sense of purpose. Because guess what? When we leave the military, that's the first thing we lose. We don't have a job. We don't know what we're going to do. All of our basic needs, the foundation, the pyramid, it's gone. The 3 squares a day, the clothes. You got to think about all those things. You didn't have to think about them when you were serving. So let's change it. Let's give them a purpose. They have to train their own dog. By doing that, they get self-reward, right? They get to see their dog advance. They're getting fulfillment, which is something they weren't getting while they were being injured. Because I can't imagine, okay? I got out by choice, but I can't imagine what it must be like to get out based on an injury. So, in the last 1.5 years, and actually last year, I started on this journey 1.5 years ago. I started matching dogs to veterans 1 year ago. I've matched 17 veterans with 17 dogs. And I am proud to say, we have our very first project hired veteran and service dog. Jeremiah and Rocky are here representing, and we hope that this is the beginning of very long with numerous dogs and veterans moving forward. Because what Rocky's going to provide for Jeremiah, and he's already done it, that was a Christmas present, right, Jeremiah? Right. Rocky became Jeremiah's dog on Christmas Eve. So he's only had him 1.5 months, and they're in their early stages of training. But it gives Jeremiah a reason to get up, something to do, a reason to get out of the house. And as a matter of fact, I have to tell you, I'm extremely proud of him, and I have to salute him, because for Jeremiah to be here today is huge. This is a tough situation for him with all of the people. But he's taking those steps. Rocky's helping him do it. Plus, in addition to that, he comes from Lodi, and he comes to Gilroy on Saturdays to attend group classes. So those are enormous steps. That's overcoming the diversity and the challenges of being afraid to get back out into daily life. And Jeremiah, thank you, because you're doing it, buddy. So, there are a lot of different things. We talked about service dogs. There are different types of service dogs. For the dogs with the invisible wounds, we call those psychiatric or PTSD dogs. But we have mobility assistance dogs. We have hearing dogs. We have guide dogs. There are a lot of different things. one of the things that comes up when veterans go back into the workforce is how does the dog integrate? Well, just like a guide dog has the right and they're covered by the ADA, so are these other service dogs, okay? There's a side benefit to hiring somebody who has a service dog. They boost the morale in the office because everybody wants to go and pet the dog. Plus all of our stress from the boss yelling at us because we didn't get that project quite done on time, right? Our blood pressure goes back down. Oh, I gotta go get my dog fixed, okay? However, keep in mind, working dogs always ask permission. They are working and they do have a very important job. If you have any questions, I'll try and answer them. And thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Mary and Jeremiah will be around with their dogs for a little while. Our next step is to let you go back out and enjoy talking with the employers and the agencies that are here today. And I hope that we've been able to share some information with you that was helpful. Thank you all for coming.